Hey everybody in TPG world, what's going on? Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Welcome to the very first TPG Lemonade session. My name is Richard Kerr and I am your loyalty and engagement editor, which is a fancy way to say my job is to make sure that you're excited about points and miles. Wow, it has been a crazy 2 weeks. I wish everybody the best out there. Hope everybody is doing well in what we're going to call the new normal here. What I'm going to do with each of these is hopefully distract you a little bit from the life that you're living now and give us the knowledge in an individual loyalty program so that when it's time to travel again, you've got the green light, you've got the knowledge to go out there and really book some amazing trips. And we're starting today with the British Airways Avios program. So what I'm going to do, a very quick overview of how do you earn these miles and then how do you redeem them. And Avios has a few tricks up its sleeve as well as a few things that you want to avoid. I've got the moderators, all of the great TPG staff here in the comments. They're going to reach out and answer some of the questions, so please post them in the comments. Give us feedback on what you would like to see, which programs we want to take a look at going forward. And we're going to make this a regular deal. We're going to do some things to really try and keep you entertained at home. I know that I need it with my 3 and 5-year-old providing some entertainment, but that's not the kind that I'll always want. So let's jump right into this. And what I'm going to do is mainly do a whole lot of screen sharing with this really fancy $30 software. Anybody who knows me in the office routinely makes fun of how well or how bad I am at technology. So we're going to work through this and make it smooth as we keep going forward. But I'm excited to share a little bit of information here today with everybody. So everybody should be able to see my screen. I've already got it pulled up here on the wonderful British Airways Avios program website. What I really want to do with this screen sharing is get you familiar with these websites and with some of the award searches that I'm going to show you, as well as where to find some information as we go along here. And I'm going to start with Quick Earn, and then I'm going to go and show you how to do a little bit of burning. So this is collecting Avios. Avios is just the fancy name that British Airways uses for their currency. You can call them miles, but every single British person in Points and Miles Nerd will look at you a little bit funny. So British Airways Avios, how do we earn these? Well, looking at the credit card side, first thing you can do is get the British Airways Visa Signature Card issued by Chase. Routinely has sign-up bonuses up to 100,000 Avios. You can also transfer them from Amex and you can transfer them from Chase, typically at a 1-to-1 ratio, but every now and again, American Express has transfer bonuses, and we have lots of information about that on the Point Sky website. Also, if you want to fly, here's the earning chart for British Airways Avios. What it does is it takes into consideration how far you fly and in what fare class you fly in. So if you buy one of those cheap fares that are out there all the time for British Airways, you're only going to earn 25% of the miles flown, with a minimum of at least 125 Avios. Now, that's not very many Avios, so if you're looking to earn a lot of Avios, don't go out there and buy the cheapest ticket that there is. But going all the way up here, you can see premium, economy, business, and first class. If you buy a full fare first class ticket, you're going to get 300% of miles flown, which is a lot, but I guarantee you're going to pay for that. Hey, we got Wallace and Deb and all the moderators throwing up some great information here in the comments, so please be sure. After this as well, I'm going to go and throw a lot more information in some of the links I use in the comments. And yes, these videos will be available for replay on the videos tab of the group, right? So that's all there really is to earning Avios. You can fly them, you can transfer them from British Air or from American Express and Chase, or you can get the British Airways Visa Signature Card issued by Chase. It is subject to 524, so you want to make sure that you have not opened 5 new credit card accounts in the last 24 months. If you don't know what the 524 rule is, quick Google the Points Guy 524. You'll see an ultimate guide that I've written there. Let's get into the fun part. I'm going to switch back and talk to you here on my camera. There is no simple way to explain the wonders of redeeming British Airways Avios. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about that today because I'm going to give you a very quick overview. So here you go. I'm going to pull this over. I'm going to share back to my screen. Just wanted to look at you in the eye and say, this can be complicated, but it's okay. I'm going to walk you through it. So I'm going to put this link up, but this is a Flyer Talk forum where a wonderful poster has put up all of the different ways to redeem Avios and all of the different caveats, I guess what we'll call it. So I'm going to go through this really fast, and then I'm going to tell you what you really should care about. All right. There is a chart for standard awards. This is British Airways and or British Airways and one partner chart. There's a chart for Iberia only awards. There's a chart for Aer Lingus. There's a chart for American Airlines and Alaska Airlines because Zone 1 of the distance-based award chart does not apply in North America. Then we have the other airlines who are not One World members. Then we can go through all the different ways to redeem those, and you get down to the multi-partner flight. If you fly 2 different One World carriers on a single ticket, basically what you need to know is it's going to cost you a lot more miles. Then it gets a little bit wonky depending on how you route because British Airways prices by segment, and there are about 5,000 other words here that you can read on how to redeem British Airways miles. Are there any questions? Crazy, right? It's not easy. Here, let me break it all down and tell you what you really need to care about with British Airways Avios. Number one, they are priced on a distance-based charts, as I just showed you. Basically, that means how long is your physical flight? How many miles is it from Atlanta to London? It costs this many miles. Second thing you need to know is you are charged per segment for an award ticket. So if I want to fly Atlanta to London and then London to Paris, I'm going to pay a set price based on the distance of the first leg, Atlanta to London. I'm going to pay a set price based on the second leg of London to Paris. That has a lot of disadvantages. This is why you really don't see people using these for multi-segment award tickets. If you want to get from point A to point B, Avios can be a great program to use. And then one of the last most important notes that you need to know is taxes and surcharges, or YQ. YQ is what you might hear it referred to as, can be quite extensive on long haul and premium class British Airways flights. That means if you want to fly business class to Europe from the United States, I do not recommend using British Airways Avios, okay? So distance-based award chart, price per segment. Number 3, YQ, taxes and surcharges, are borderline criminal in my opinion. So long haul flights, Avios aren't really what you want to use. All right, so let's get into some redemption examples over here on my screen share. I'm going to run you through some very simple redemption options, and then we're going to kind of ramp it up a little bit to get just a bit more complicated. So British Airways site, yes, you do have to be logged in order to search for award space. So you're going to have to create a free British Airways Executive Club account. You're going to have to log in. You go to book, and then you're going to go to book flight with Avios. Once we do that, very simple search. What I'm going to do here is a few different routes, starting from simple and getting a little bit more complex. And first what we're going to do is a very simple domestic hop on American Airlines. Remember, American Airlines is part of the One World Alliance, so you can use Avios to search for American Airlines flights. Alaska, not a member of the One World Alliance yet, can also be booked with Avios, but Alaska Airlines does not show on the British Airways website. You have to call British Airways in order to book Alaska operated flights. But American flights, no problem. I always search one ways. No matter what program I'm using, I only search for award tickets in one ways. I typically only book one-way tickets. I have a whole philosophy around that would take a long time to explain, but makes it easy to book tickets and also to protect your return if something happens to your outbound. So what I have here, Atlanta to Miami on September the 1st. We're looking a few months out because I don't think anybody will or should be traveling here in the next months. So all the award searches today are going to be out in the future. Enter your origin, your destination, the date, and very quickly it'll show us some results here, and we'll talk about what the British Airways engine will learn us. You know, it's going to be interesting as we continue to do these sessions, what the world looks like in every session, as things change on a dramatic scale every day. All right, so the British Airways Award Search Engine, September 1st, which happens to be a Tuesday, Atlanta to Miami. Not unexpectedly, right now you can see almost every single flight from Atlanta to Miami has both economy and business availability with 7 seats. So what you do is you simply click on one, and then the journey summary will show up at the bottom that shows, hey, my total cost is going to be $7,500 Avios, $5.60 for a one-way flight from Atlanta to Miami, because it falls within the first band of that distance-based award chart. Now that's a really good deal. Is it the best deal these days because American Airlines has web saver specials? It might cost less American miles than it does Avios to fly this flight now. In my experience, for Atlanta to Miami, American is still charging more than 7,500 miles. So it can be a really great deal. Also, the rule of thumb used to be, if the American Airlines website shows saver availability, you're going to be able to also go on BritishAirways.com and find the same flights available for Avios. Now, with the dynamic pricing American has with the web specials, we really don't know. So just come over to the British Airways site, and it looks like, as expected, again, nobody's flying or booking flights right now, so you can get to Miami almost every hour of the day for 7,500 Avios. If we click over to business, it doubles it for this first band. It's going to be 15,000 Avios and $5.60. That most likely will be cheaper than booking it through American Airlines, so it can be a really great deal. And that's your very simple award search engine of how to book an American Airlines flight with your Avios. What I would do is transfer 7,500 Chase Ultimate Rewards over to my British Airways account, come here, book it, and you would be done pretty quickly. Remember, Alaska not on the British Airways website, so if you want to book Alaska, then you need to go ahead and call British Airways. Let's do a quick change by clicking this button up here. I want to show you the per segment pricing that you need to be careful of. So basically, if you want to fly an award ticket using British Airways Avios, you really want it to be a nonstop flight so that you don't get charged per segment. This is JFK to LAX. A few reasons I chose this route is there are lots of different ways that American can route you from JFK to LAX, not on their flagship A321T, which stands for Transcontinental Flight. Really nice airplane, has 3 full classes, economy, business, and first. You'll be able to see all of them here that are bookable with British Airways Avios, so they typically do not release first class space. And here you can see all the nonstop flights that they offer, again, on the brand new sparkly airplane, which not surprisingly does not have business or first class available right now. But if we click the nonstop flight, you can see the price here is 13,000 Avios, $5.60. However, if we scroll down, it shows you outbound connecting flights. And again, you're going to be charged per segment. In this case, JFK to Phoenix and then Phoenix to LAX. And instead of paying 13,000 Avios, you're going to end up paying 20,500 Avios to get from JFK to LAX. So probably doesn't make sense why you want to book this anyways as a connecting, just as just an example to see, hey, if I'm going to be flying a non-stop or a connecting itinerary, it's going to cost me more Avios to make that happen. Okay. I'm going to switch back and just talk about a few other things now that you've seen the basics of how the website work, and I am going to show you a few more examples as I check my notes here. A really nice thing about British Airways Avios is you can book infant tickets online, and they charge you 10% of the Avios and 10% of the taxes and fees required. So a one-way flight from Atlanta to Miami is going to be 750 Avios for a lap infant under 2 years old. That can be a really great deal, except in that situation it's going to be free because it's a domestic flight, but on an international flight, it would be 10% of the Avios that an adult pays and then 10% of the taxes and fees. You don't have to call. You don't have to mess with trying to get it ticketed. It's really nice for those parents who have messed with this situation before, like we have, to be able to do the infant tickets through Avios. The other thing you do is a Avios kind of points in cash booking. If you get to the final price at the bottom of an award search engine, and I'll show you in a second, it'll say like, hey, 20,000 Avios and $200, or you can pay a little bit less Avios and a little bit more cash. You can try and find some sweet spots there. Given that YQ, again, the fuel surcharges are typically going to be large, I don't find it to be a great deal, but if you're just short of Avios, but you have a little bit of cash, you can find a spot where you can still make your award ticket work, and you can save money. Wide overview here. Pretty easy to earn Avios, transfer from Chase American Express, or get the British Airways Visa Signature Card. Can be extremely useful for domestic flying here in the U.S. on American or Alaska. Can be incredibly useful elsewhere in the world for short hauls. When I lived in Tokyo, Japan for 3 years, I booked Japan Airlines domestic flights all the time using British Airways Avios because it's only 4,500 Avios to fly Japan Airlines to anywhere in Japan from Tokyo. So weekend trips all the time. I would hop down to Haneda. I saw almost all of the country of Japan on Avios, and again, that applies to everywhere outside of North America in that first band, less than 650 miles. That's 4,500 Avios. That's nothing, and these short haul flights, depending on the country, can be quite expensive. So a great tip to learn there. The second thing is you want to avoid having multiple airline partners on the same ticket. If I wanted to fly around Asia and I had a Cathay Pacific and a Japan Airlines flight on the same ticket, it's going to kick you to a different award chart called the multi-partner chart. That chart is just really expensive. So if you can, keep your Avios tickets down to British Airways and one partner, or just one partner, to avoid from kicking you onto that more expensive multi-carrier chart. All right. And then the last thing to remember is British Airways has some really cool Fifth Freedom routes in the Caribbean, as well as their subsidiary in South Africa, Comair. It flies out of Cape Town and Johannesburg everywhere. They basically operate on what are called reward flight savers, which are flat fee cost of how much an award ticket is. It's just instead of charging a lot of insane YQ or a lot of Avios, they say, hey, flights less than 2,000 miles underneath Reward Flight Savers are going to cost 9,000 Avios and $50, and it can be a really good deal. And I'm going to show you an example here of hopping around the Caribbean on that. But that's what you really need to know. Okay, a few examples to show you a good use and bad use of British Airways Avios as we cap off this 15-minute section. Again, just going to change this again. Really cool route that they fly in the Caribbean, a feeder flight into London. They go from Grand Cayman to Nassau on a 777, so that'd be a pretty cool wide-body flight to go on there. August 29th, I already did a little bit of cheating here, and I know when they operate the flight. Nick Ewan in the comments there, one of our senior editors, my editor, has a great tip that on 9-1 Atlanta to Miami would be more expensive booking through American Airlines, so it is great here to book for 7,500 Avios. All right, so Grand Cayman to Nassau, 5th Freedom route. You see the 777 flight. What I do really like is you can click on the flight information and it'll tell you the aircraft that operates it. So a really neat thing about the British Airways side. But economy here to take the flight is going to be a whopping 9,000 Avios and $98. If we switch over to Google Flights, where I have it pulled up here, same flight's going to be $478. Again, Grand Cayman to Nassau, September 1st, $478. So save yourself $395 for only 9,000 Avios, and that's a heck of a way to get around the Caribbean. Don't forget about these routes. They service several other smaller islands before they hop up to Nassau or somewhere else and then go into London. So a really great use of Avios that folks forget about here. Hey, look, business class actually seems to be available too, which will cost you 15,500 Avios to fly business on the 777. So not a bad way to hop around the Caribbean. And then finally, here is a big headache that folks have with British Airways Avios, and that's going to be your long-haul transatlantic routes or anything like that. Again, looking way out in September, not too many folks flying. And you're going to see the YQ. If you're not familiar with YQ, it's what we in the biz, it's funny saying we in the biz, call airline carrier-imposed surcharges, i.e. we can make money off of you because we can, and we're going to do it. And this is why you should not use Avios for long-haul flights. So we got Atlanta to London September 1st, 8-hour flight blocked in. Economy, probably not going to be too bad, 25,000 Avios and $229. Again, if you want to go transatlantic on an award ticket, there are just a lot better programs to do it than this right here. And then shockingly, your business class availability is going to charge you a whopping $679 and 75,000 Avios. Note that British Airways operated flights do have peak and off-peak dates, so you need to be aware of that if you want to try and save some Avios and you are going to book British Airways operated flights. But $679 and 75,000 Avios for one-way transatlantic business class is just terrible value. Okay, so we see some really good uses of Avios and we see some really bad uses of Avios as well. And then I don't understand how fuel surcharges can go from $679 for business, but you're on the same plane in economy and it's $229. I know we can talk about footprint and all that stuff, but it just doesn't make too much sense for me when they start doing those kinds of things. All right, and then another neat little thing, if you are going to fly British Airways, you can do a calendar view of availability here. And anywhere with the red underline date is off-peak dates, and it'll show you, a quick snapshot of Atlanta to London in this case of all of the availability in an entire month period. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is the conclusion of our very first TPG Lemonade session. I hope you picked up a few tips about the British Airways Avios program. A lot to go through here. We want to keep these short because I know everybody's busy, or are we, because we're all at home? But great currency to have really as on the side, and I've saved tons of miles booking American airline flights, Japan airline flights, like I mentioned, with Avios instead of using their own programs. I am going to go back through and add some of these links into the post that we have, as well as link the video again where you're going to be able to find it. We also may be uploading these to YouTube for you to watch anytime. And with that, I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. It's a crazy world we live in. Please take care of yourself. Please make smart decisions. And in the meantime, do all of the homework and study that you can now, so when it's time to travel, you're ready to go. Send us any feedback you have. Thanks again to all of my awesome moderators who help out every day. Caitlin, who leads our social, Wallace, who started the awesome TPG Lounge, all the moderators here, Deb, Julie, Ross, Gloria, Catherine, David, Paul, all of you guys and gals that do great work for us every day. And we'll catch you next time. Have a good day.